Okay, so this is going to be a quick guide on how to run these SXC sites. I've already cleared out the initial room, which has six heavy gun stars. Well, 4 heavy gun stars, 2 stasis towers, and you just need to clear those out before you bring your frigates in. Because once you bring your frigates in, they would just die to those towers. You have to clear them out with your Marauder first. Then you want to go ahead and have barrage loaded when you go into the second room. Just MWD over to this gate. Really 2 cycles is enough. You'll be there by the time you finish hacking. I always double check which one has the clear line. It's normally Alpha. And by that I mean you can go directly to Alpha and you don't hit any of the mines. So I send my prober that way because it has 0 tank, and then this tanky Atron to Beta. You just eat the proximity mine on the way to Beta. It's fine. As long as you have at least 4k tank, you should tank it. So any tanky plated frigate can do it fine. If you want to take something bigger, frigate's just way easier to move around, and if you lose it because you left it AFK on a gate, which I have done before, you don't care because it's a fucking T1 fit Atron. Then you want to go ahead and do your hacks. You always want to just take each hack to the point in which you find the core, and then you stop there. Don't finish doing the core until you have found it on both. So, one click on it this way. Start. Failing the hack is honestly very annoying because you have to. It spawns a wave of rats, which can be quite of a pain to kill. So now you have both of them, so one click will finish the hack, and that's what you want it to be. So once you've gotten there, go ahead and make sure you take. I like to take these drugs because they're cheap on the Varg and they give me a little bit of peace of mind. Make it a little bit here. Then boom, boom. Go ahead and just warp those guys out. So that you don't have to worry about them. I've had rats just randomly spawn in the outside of the room, and even without a failed hack, so you just don't want to leave your frigates sitting there. Then you have 2 minutes to activate the gate, but you should already be sitting on it, and go ahead and activate the gate. And just dive right on in. So, important thing, as soon as you get in, you want to turn and MJD. So the 2 side spawns, this is your middle spawn, and there's a spawn on each side. 2 side spawns haven't actually spawned yet, so you want to go this way. Wait until you start to pick up speed again and hit your MJD. Depending on how brave you are, you can wait for MJD to go all the way through. You want to avoid repping out of Bastion as much as possible, because repping out of Bastion is essentially a waste of ammo. You get it to your hit Bastion for some extra resist as you wait for these spawns to come in. Wait for the spawns. Oh, don't forget to turn off your heat on your multi-spec on your hardener. You really don't need heat. I just like it on the initial warp in, because when you're out of Bastion is by far the most dangerous part of running. Since we haven't gotten these spawns yet, I guess we're gonna. Oh, there they are. So that side is spawning first, so we're gonna go ahead and pop these guys on their way in. Spawns are a bit more dynamic now. These spawns were really weird. Normally I would expect more cruisers by now. Normally you have to kill the cruisers first, but these guys are just approaching us, so... if you want to do these sites, you really have to be able to adjust on the fly, because the site spawns do change. They're not consistent. Which is... always makes it very fun to try to guide people on how to do them. So as long as the frigates have below 400 transversal, you should be able to hit them. Especially if they're nice and far away from you. Don't give up as you're missing a few shots. Go ahead and keep locking those guys up. Again, you're locking these up because none of these cruisers... those cruisers are in the middle group. You don't want to waste too much time shooting them. Cool. Now switch over to these guys. You're waiting until those cruisers get closer to shoot them. Normally cruisers are your main DPS target, but no cruisers have come close enough. So, next best thing is the frigates. Don't get run your tank. See, these guys are getting too close for me now. I'm not tracking them anymore. So, honestly, I'm just going to unlock all those guys, and we're going to lock up the swarm of frigates coming from that direction. Just clear them as quickly as you can. If you aren't hitting the cruisers, that means because the AI has kind of two modes. Has a mode where it just approaches you like this and or sits fucking still, and they're really easy to track and you pop frigates super fast. The other mode, they will orbit the cruisers as the cruisers come into you, and if they are doing that, you'll notice because you won't be able to track the frigates for fuck. No matter, even if they're at 100 and they're coming into you. If that's happening, you need to kill the cruisers first. Since that hasn't happened in this one, we don't need to kill the cruisers. We can just go ahead and clear out. Okay, next I want to go ahead and kill these two cruisers. Do this one first, he's closer, I'll have better damage on him. And yes, there's a massive fucking swarm of drones on me right now. That is okay. You can deal with it. Next, you're going to want to MJD over this way a little bit. This will put you in range of those cruisers, as well as pull range on the frigate, which is what you want to do so you can pop them. With this fit, you should really probably only have to inject once, two or three times total per site. If you get a good spawn or you're running really well, it'll only be 2. You get really lucky, maybe 1. That's unlikely though, in my opinion. So these guys, go ahead and lock them up, but don't even bother shooting at them. You're not going to track. Alright, so we're out of Bastion. This is the spookiest time. Go ahead and make sure you keep running that shield booster. Go ahead and inject. This is the first inject of the room. And choose a frigate with low transversal and start popping. Again, the reason you can pop these frigates so easily is because they're not with the group of cruisers. When the cruisers and the frigates are in a group together, the frigates act differently and you have to kill the cruisers first. But we've gotten a good spawn here where they didn't do that for whatever reason. Right now, clear them. Then choose the closest cruiser and work your way down. You're pretty much always using barrage for these rooms because you just want to stay at range and you still have really fucking good damage with barrage. You're pumping out 1600 DPS. And also T2 ammo is just more efficient to run for PV things. Go and shoot them. If the cruisers do get directly on top of you, they can be a little bit difficult to track. You still should be able to track them if you switch to Sabo or depleted uranium. Or I prefer to just MJD away and shoot them with barrage. You get more applied damage that way because you're still really struggling to track them with Sabo when they're on top of you. And you're taking less damage because you've gotten them off of you. So we are in a little bit of an awkward place with our positioning right now. So you want to kind of try to put yourself 100 off the middle group at the end. So you'll kill the cruisers and the frigates from 100, and then you'll MJD in directly on top of the battleships and take them out with hail. So I'm gonna MJD over this way. It should put me about 100 off of that middle group. So at this point, we've only used one injector. We probably will have to use one more during the killing of the battleships, just because you're on top of them, you're taking a chunk of damage, and you're more likely to have to inject because you're running your... Also, the MJD takes a pretty big chunk of cap, so that's something to watch out for. And go ahead and make sure. So here you're going to do the cruisers and the frigate. So that frigate, you're probably thinking, hey, he has 1,000 transversal. How am I going to kill that guy? And because he's orbiting like this, every once in a while his transversal drops towards you. So honestly, once you kill the cruisers, you can just sit there and shoot barrage at the frigate for like an entire clip and hold die. That's more efficient, I found, than killing them after you go in to the battleships. Because you have to MJD away again and then MJD back. It's a bit of a pain. Also, that I've told us to lock up. That is our goal, so to speak. Yeah, we're gonna do the battleship first, actually, instead of the frigate. We'll MJD in, we kill the battleships, we MJD out on a vector that will put us 100 off of the generator. And then once we're 100 off the generator, we kill the cruiser, we MJD back on, grab the loot, you're done. Local is getting a little bit interesting. Go ahead and dock these two characters up.
Docking request accepted.
Buzzard comes on the outside. This might take a while, because you're at 100, you're a little bit beyond your fall-off range, but again, it's autocannons, you can shoot beyond fall-off, and you do okay. So don't worry about it. Don't rush it, just sit here, kill the cruiser. You don't want to go in close to the cruisers, you are just straight up, you're not going to track any cruisers if you go in close. Just sit here, chew it down. So the other thing is, the 3-ship limitation is only on this second room that I'm in right now, as of the changes. So you can't lock out the room by just leaving your 2 alts on the outside room, which is what I used to do when I was running them, because it made it PvP free. So now you can't do that. So there is some risk of someone coming and PvPing you. You have lots of warning of it because they have to hack the first room. Hack open the room and then come in to get you. And they can only send 2 ships at most. And like I said, you're never ever that close to the warp in. So I'm gonna do one more cycle of Bastion out here. Kill this frigate. That, as you can see, the frigate actually dies relatively easily from this range when it's not orbit approaching you. When it's orbiting something that's just sitting there, you get occasional good hits. When it's orbiting something and that thing is coming towards you, a bit rougher. And that's what happens with the cruiser when they do that, which it didn't do for this site. Unknown reason. So we're going to, for this, we are going to just always do a cycle of your shield booster right before you come out of Bastion, just so you're at full shield HP as you come out of Bastion. Out of Bastion is really the only time you ever are at risk of dying, is when you're out of Bastion and attempting to MJD, or if you're trying to warp out, because you can't tank. Or you're just looking up the play. Really, as long as you're in Bastion, you should tank, but people still die to these sites. So, as I said, here you go. You should chew through these battleships pretty quickly, pretty easily. No real issues. Always just shoot the closer ones on these because they will constantly burn away from you. Like I said, this is where we're probably gonna have to eat a second booster. That I'm looking at this ESS generator right now. So it's about 150 below me. So I want to go about 50 out, half the way down. Yeah. So that'll be my vector for the MJD to MJD out and then MJD back onto the generator. Personally, I don't bother killing any of these towers. The web, if you want to hit your MWD and burn to the can, you will, I'd say, kill the stasis ones. Otherwise, you're going to be webbed fuck and you're not going to go anywhere. But just MJDing around, you have a really short cooldown on the MJD. Don't rush it. Use your MJD, it's good at what it does. Might be able to get through the site only using one injector. So this is going to die soon, so go ahead and make sure I red cycle my Bastion. Cool. There is Zcan. Yeah, that MJD vector looks okay. I'm gonna open it up a little bit. Then once you're out, you just hit your MJD again. That eats a lot of amp. Honestly, the main reason your final injector almost always is eaten just to fuel the MJD, because otherwise you just don't have enough cap MJD again. It's really annoying. Yep, see? Perfect. 100 kilometers off the generator. 101 off the can. Go ahead and set to approach the can. You'll sit in Bastion for 2 cycles as the MJD comes off cooldown, and then you just MJD on top, grab it, warp out. Easy peasy. Alright, so you want to red cycle your second round of Bastion. This is why I say you don't bother killing the towers. As you can see, the incoming TPS is really negligible from them. You've been sitting here, not running your booster for a minute straight, and you're fine. I will still advise hitting 1 round of boost before you leave the site, and just for safety's sake. So then you're out. MJD. The good thing about MJDing out of Bastion is Bastion puts you at 0 transversal. I mean, at 0 movement at all. So you're always going to be instantly aligned for MJD towards whatever it is. You won't end up MJDing early and not MJDing the correct line. So then go ahead and just grab that. Warp out. I just do a heated cycle of MWD to help the align. Honestly, just ignore this. You'll be fine. See? And you're out. And that is a ESS site completed.